Hello and welcome back to the Bookshelf Odyssey. My name is Art. Today I have a special guest with us. Her name is Kimberly Webb, and she's just written her first book called Jillian's Island, a book that draws some inspiration from that classic show, Gilligan's Island. And that got me thinking. It's a question I meant to ask my guest, but I never got around to it because, well, you know how easily distracted I get. It got me thinking about desert island books. Now, not desert island books. That's a whole other island that I wouldn't mind visiting. But a desert island book. Is there a book that you would want to take if you were deserted on an island? What book would you want to have with you? I have recently been a guest on Kate Howe's channel during Victober, or I will be. We talked about our Victorian classics. What Victorian classics would we want to have if we were on a deserted island? Isn't that such a fascinating question? Is there one or two books that you say I would grab this book from a fire? If I were deserted on an island, this is the book I would want. How would you answer that question? Let me know in the comments. We can put together a desert island book list. I think that would be fun. I would probably want to bring something by Dickens. At the time of this recording, I'm reading Pickwick Papers. And so this is like the third or fourth time I've read it. It's so good, so funny. That might be an option. But I know in Kate's video, I also said I'd want to take Christmas Carol along. I know it's probably a little early for you to think about Christmas, but I think about Christmas a lot. Maybe you'd want to bring a mystery. I've got several mysteries on my shelf I haven't read yet, or those that I have read and I love. Like just about any book by Louise Penny would be a fantastic deserted island book. Let me know what you think. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to our interview with Kimberly Webb. And then at the end, I will wrap up a few things. Welcome back to the Bookshelf Odyssey Podcast. Our guest today is author Kimberly Webb. She has just written a book that came out on, I believe, August 15th, you said, or August 12th?
August 12th, yep.
Yep. So by the time this episode is out, you can get your hands on this book. The book is called Jillian's Island, and it sounds like a lot of fun. The description talks about how Jillian and her grandpa are shipwrecked on an island. There's mysterious ruins and dangers, and there's secrets and all this kind of I don't know. I'm really intrigued by it. So I can't wait to get my hands on it. And it sounds like it's going to have a mixture of humor and maybe some family connections as well. We're going to talk about Kimberly's writing journey today, as well as whatever else happens to cross my mind. You know me. I can't stay on topic to save my life. So with all that, thanks for coming on, and welcome to the Bookshelf Odyssey Podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Always excited to bring on, especially new writers. So Jillian's Island is your first book. That's got to be exciting for you.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting and terrifying. I think it's in equal parts at this point.
Right. Yeah. When I was first sending out episodes and podcasting and stuff, it's like, is anybody going to listen? Refreshing those downloads every day, Mm-hmm. How many did I get today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out more a little bit later about your book and your writing, how you go about it, all that fun stuff, and really dig into the creativity journey for you. But I like to have some fun to start off with. So first of all, the big important question: do you have any pets?
No pets.
No pets.
I grew up with pets. We always had dogs. We always had at least two dogs and cats. And all of my siblings have pets now, but
Hmm.
I miss the pet boat. I don't know.
Oh,
We don't have any. I got kids and
okay.
those are harder.
That counts. Yeah, yeah. Gonna say no pets. This interview's not off to a good start. Okay, no,
I know.
just kidding.
Better wrap it up, I think.
That's right. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. Yeah. No.
Hmm.
I'm an animal lover, and I enjoy hearing about people's pets, or if they don't have any, why. I know some are allergies. In your case, kids. We tried a dog with our kids were younger, and we just couldn't pay attention to both. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. More importantly, I do like to talk about books and writing and get some more books to read, kind of to fill up my TBR list. So, do you have a favorite book or several favorite books that you love to come back to or recommend to people when they ask?
Well, it's hard to recommend this one because everybody has already read it.
Hmm.
I just love Harry Potter. The
Mm,
Harry Potter series was like my entire junior high experience. I'm pretty sure I
hmm.
read the first four books were out when I was first reading them. And I read them like 9 times, waiting for the rest of the books to come out.
Hmm.
So that one was an obvious love for me.
Yeah.
Another one of the first books I fell in love with was Ella Enchanted,
Okay.
which I love that book. And then usually it's just what I've read most recently. I
Hmm.
give high stars to a lot of everything that I read. So it's hard for me to pick a favorite because they're all
Same.
different and good in
Yeah.
great ways. So
Yeah. I'm the worst when it comes to. Oh, I say the worst. Authors love me because, oh, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. You know, I don't know. I didn't hate it. 5 stars. You know.
no
No,
major problems. Liked
right.
it.
Right. Yeah. Um. That works for me. So. But yeah, Harry Potter. I've got the books right up here.
Yep, I can see them right there.
Although they're out of order now that I see it. Oh, that's gonna bug me. Oh well. Um.
Pause the
I know.
podcast. We
Yeah.
have to fix the bookshelf.
Right. Well, we've just moved a couple months ago. I got the books on the shelf more or less in the order I want, but the sub order I haven't. It's like I got them up and they're
Yep.
up.
Yep.
So yeah. Well, one of my projects, I guess, I got to get
Yeah.
to. Um, but for those watching the video, you can see some of them are quite well worn. My wife and we came across them in college, and then we introduced them to our kids, and we read aloud to them for their first time through. Uh, there are just certain things in the book too that I just wanted to be able to talk with our kids about. So more to do with like Harry's disobedience and things, and like I want to talk about this with you guys, just so you know, put it in some good context here. A few things like that. There's
Yeah.
nothing too bad, but yeah, and just happy memories around those books for sure.
Yeah. I love
Um,
the complexity of it. I mean, you begin as
mhm,
at the 11-year-old level, but then as the characters grow up and learn,
mhm,
the writing gets better,
mm,
and the story development gets more intricate and complicated, and so it grows with the reader. I think that is she did that so well, and I think a lot of authors have learned from that. But you
mhm,
look at other series where they're just stagnant through the whole thing character wise, and so I think that's a huge reason why people are drawn to Harry Potter over other similar series is that you see that long-term arc of characterization rather than
right,
just beginning to end of a book and then you start over again at the beginning of the next book.
right, right. Now, do you have a favorite of the series?
Uh,
That can depend on the day, to be honest.
I really love The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Hmm.
But I love the end of The Goblet of Fire.
Yes.
I have a hard time reading the whole thing of The Goblet of Fire because it's so long and it kind of drags on. But the end
Hmm.
of The Goblet of Fire, I could read every day. Like, it's just amazing, especially especially the graveyard scene. I read
Hmm.
that as a teenager and it was just wrenching to me to have a person who's supposed to be my age going through something so horrendous.
Hmm.
Just it just opens the mind to what other people really do experience outside of your little safe world of junior high, as safe as
Right.
that is.
So you really were kind of aging with the characters
Yeah, it was.
on
Mhm.
some level. Yeah. Yeah, I picked them up in college 'cause I'd heard everyone talking about them, and I thought I'd give it a try. I was fortunate enough I got the audio version, and so I got to listen to Jim Dale narrate, which is just sublime.
Oh yeah,
I know, I know. There are some who are fans of is it Stephen
Fry,
Fry?
Stephen
Yeah,
Fry. Hmm.
who does the British version, um, which I haven't listened to yet, but I don't know. I just loved it. Anyway, books 1 and 2 were good. I thought, okay, but I'm in my 20s. Okay, whatever. I don't know if it's really my thing, but I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and listen to the third one and just make a decision. And that third one was the one that did it for me. I'm like, she just elevates the story, like you're saying, the complexity, the mystery. I was like on the edge of my seat because I worked nights. I was a campus security guard at the time, so I had nobody around. It was just me and my Walkman. This is how old I was. Young I
I
was.
love that.
And I'm just like on the edge of my seat, trying like, what's gonna happen next? Sirius Black better be okay. All these things,
Yes,
and
yes.
yeah. But that, and then like same as you, that end of book 4 was wow, things just got serious here, and it really changed my view uh, as far as young adult literature goes. And it's not that I was real snobby, it just it's not for me. But then I began to realize that young adult literature is probably more for just the selling part of books. Like this is a good story, and it shouldn't just be marketed for young adults. I understand they kind of have to, and I suppose there's difference in marketing and all that goes in it. But if somebody's not reading a book just because it's a young adult book, I think they could be missing a treasure at some time. So
I totally agree. Especially because, like you said, because of the way that it changes in tone
mm,
from book 1 through 3, and then you get to 7, and it's not a children's series anymore by
right,
that
right.
point.
Yeah, this is a good story. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I greatly enjoyed those. My kids enjoyed them. Lot of happy memories around those books. Now, you also mentioned Ella Enchanted. I haven't read that, but my sister loves that book, possibly more than any human should. I don't know.
that was
She,
another one I read until the cover fell off, and I don't
yep.
even think it was my book.
Oh no.
I, sorry, I guess I'll have to replace that one.
Now, I can sometimes be a bit of a troll to my sister, and when I want to push her buttons, I bring up the Anne Hathaway movie
Oh
of that book,
yeah.
which
Uh-huh.
apparently doesn't really stick that close to the book or make some pretty drastic changes. And she doesn't just hate that movie; she has like a vendetta against that movie for what they have done to her favorite book. So,
The thing about that movie is that if you just forget that there was ever a book, it's an okay movie. It's a
yeah,
fine movie, but do not compare it to that novel because it is not the same.
right. And that was my opinion. I mean, like I said, I haven't read it, but we watched it. I'm like, oh, hey, my sister likes this. I'll read it or watch it. And it was one movie that me and the whole family, we enjoyed it. We laughed. It was ridiculous. It was stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. We
Very good words for the
yeah.
movie.
It was just fun. It was fun, and yeah, I was in big trouble for even expressing kind thoughts about the film. So
That makes me think there's a kind of a stink going around right now because they're making another version of Pride and Prejudice.
hmm
They're doing another 6-hour miniseries. They shouldn't worry about that. They should redo Ella Enchanted true to the book. I think that would be a much better use of time.
there we
And if
go.
your sister and I will start a petition for a
Okay.
new Ella Enchanted.
Okay, I think she'd be on board with that.
All
Yeah.
right. Sounds great.
Um, it would probably be just direct from the book to the screen, and No need for a screenwriter.
No, just copy paste.
That's
It's all
right.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, are you a Jane Austen fan at all?
I am. I have. Well, I'm a fan, but I am not a fanatic. I have read
Okay.
all the books, and I
Hmm.
have seen several adaptations, but I'm not. I don't quote Jane Austen to my friends,
Sure.
and
You don't go to the Jane night parties and dress
no,
up and yeah.
no, I'm not to that level. I enjoy them. I thought
Mm,
they were good books.
yeah. Yeah. I'm not quite the fanatic level yet, but I'm getting
Oh,
there. I'm getting there. No.
work in progress.
Um, I I would love to go to a gathering of J Knights, just to see the fervor and the fandom just loving on something. I love to experience that. As long as it's positive, because
Yes.
I also have, I'm a big fan of Star Wars and Star Trek, and those fandoms can be, well, even Harry Potter, they can be just brutal if
Oh yeah.
something doesn't go their way. And I want to avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true.
Um, but yeah, I love Jane Austen as well. I love the old books. I love some new books. My taste ranges quite widely. So I was going to ask one more Potter related question. Do you have a Potter house or a Hogwarts house that you identify with?
I have been sorted into Ravenclaw, but I don't want to be a Ravenclaw. I want to be a Gryffindor. And I think that there's something in the book about your choices taken into
Hmm.
account. So I think I'd like to be a Gryffindor.
I know at some point I might be a Ravenclaw, but I am a self-proclaimed Hufflepuff now. I just want to relax. I want to hang out with my friends. I seen pictures of like what the Hufflepuff Commons room might look like, and I guess on a video game or something. I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
too deep into it, but I'm like, that's the place I want to hang out right there. Just cozy.
Don't take yourself so serious.
Yeah. Let all the Gryffindors go have all the adventures and
I think I think there's some truth to that. I think we're all a little bit more Hufflepuff than we might like to
right,
admit, especially
right.
those Slytherins. I don't think they're all as mean as they like to think they
I think you're right. Yeah.
are. Or maybe they are. I don't know.
I-
Maybe I'm a Hufflepuff in that sense.
Who knows? Yeah, yeah. Are do you have any thoughts about the new upcoming series based on the books, or have you followed that too closely?
I haven't followed it very closely. I think that it will be really interesting to see. It's supposed to be a faithful adaptation of the books, right?
Hmm.
I'm curious to see how they're going to do that as far as timeline, because you've got the the Sorcerer's Stone, which is like 300 pages, and then you get down to the Deathly Hallows, which is 800 pages, something
Hmm.
like that. Like, how are you going to do 800 pages in one season where you've taken 300 pages for a season? So, is the
Hmm.
first season just going to be really, really slow, and you're not going to understand anything in the eighth season? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that will be tricky to be completely faithful to a series
Hmm.
that is unevenly divided.
Right, right. I bring that up because even just talking about Jane Austen and if you dare get an adaptation wrong with Jane Austen, look out. uh, I I find adaptations really fascinating. So even of my favorite books, if it's a horrible adaptation, I don't mind it so much. For instance, the infamous Netflix Persuasion film that came out a couple years ago, that was, I mean, it's a horrible movie in my opinion, but but it was interesting to see what they changed and try to think why did they make those changes, and that's the part I find really fascinating. To watch an adaptation is like why did they do that? What are they trying to say? What statement are they trying to make? Or man, they just completely missed the character on that one.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And I think it can say a lot too about like our society at the time and the things we value. I don't know if you saw the Persuasion movie
I
that
didn't.
came out. It's really not a faithful adaptation,
Mm.
and they really tried to modernize it while setting it in the Regency period. Sometimes that works. Like I think that the 2020 Emma that came out nailed that balance.
Mm.
It felt modern and fresh, but it still was Jane Austen. But that one just went completely off the rails. The Persuasion did, and
Huh.
like Anne, that's her name, was like this alcoholic, and among many other travesties.
Huh.
Like, okay, what are we trying to say here?
Weird.
Yeah, so some choices were made. Yeah, yeah.
Gee.
Anyway, I'll try to rein myself in here now, but um, it's always fun to meet someone who shares the same love of things that you do. And Potter is one that I've been thinking lately. It's might be time for a reread. It's been a few years, so yeah, I might have to do that.
I finished the series the last time I read it. I
Hmm.
finished when I was in the hospital giving birth to my daughter, who is
Mm.
2 now. So that's how long it's been since I read it, because I was in the hospital recovering from a C-section, and it's 2 in the morning, and I'm listening to Harry Potter.
Yeah, yeah. Now I know I've shared this story before on the podcast, so listeners, you'll have to forgive me. I repeat myself, but this was such a core memory, though. I read, I was reading Harry Potter aloud to the kids, and we were camping, and we were reading book three, and it was at night around the campfire, and the scene when the Dementors first show up, and it was just perfect setting. And my boys were like hiding behind their chairs, like, oh, what's happening? They were scared to death. It was great.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, enough about that. Let's talk about you and your writing journey. Thanks for indulging in my love
Hey,
of Harry
no
Potter. So,
problem. No problem.
uh,
Clearly, I have a problem too.
okay, good. Yeah, you're in good company. Yeah. Makes up for you not having a pet. So that's no.
Okay, whew, redemption.
That's right. Um, I think your bio says that at a young age you were wanting to be a writer. You became a big reader. What was that journey like for you to from then till now?
So I started writing, I was buddy writing a little mystery book with my
Hmm.
cousin. It didn't get very far, but it was like this one scene came to me. We were writing about like some murder that took place during the middle of a junior high band concert. Like it was
Hmm.
intense for a 14-year-old. Anyway, so we were writing that and that fizzled out. But then since then, I had always just had a story going in my mind. And I mentioned that Ella Enchanted was one of my favorite reads. And I finished reading that for like the eighth or ninth time within a few years. And I thought,
Mm.
I just wish this story wouldn't have to end. And every time I get to the end, I just hate that it has to end. And so then, yeah, the idea came to me to, well, a story would probably last longer if I wrote it myself rather than reading something that someone else wrote. So then I started writing a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, which I worked on all through high school and into college. I finished it when I was in college. And then from there, I wrote 15 novels in the space of like 6 years
Mm.
and just wrote like crazy. And then I I wanted to do something with them, but I never really did. And then I graduated college and got a degree. Well, I got my degree, and then I got a career, and then writing took a back burner for
Hmm.
about 10 years. And I
Hmm.
got married and had kids, and then after my daughter was born 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to leave my work, leave my career, and just be with my kids, and that's been wonderful. And then that reintroduced to me my love of writing, and that's when I started working on Jillian's Island. Was when I left my job to take care of my kids, and
Hmm.
so then the last 2 years have been writing that and getting that ready to deliver to people who might want to read it. So
Yeah.
that's how we got here.
Well, that's great. It's the last couple of guests I've interviewed, they've talked about how their writing journey has started by writing basically fan fiction and writing about characters they love. And I kind of saw that same pattern with you as well, like taking Cinderella and like writing using that as kind of your background in your mind. Somebody taught that if that's actually a good place to start when you're starting to write because you already have the world built, you have the characters in it. You can really begin to focus on just some of the simple things like story structure and things like that, and then slowly build and grow in your ability to create characters and different things. But I don't remember who said that, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
I-
I haven't heard it put that way before, but it makes perfect sense. And
yeah.
I know so many other people who have started in a similar way that just it does make perfect sense to me.
Yeah, let's hear it for fan fiction. I
Hey.
mean, yeah. Now that you have children and you have plenty of time now to write, I'm sure.
Mm.
How do you balance writing and I know being a parent, it keeps you busy. Where do
Yeah.
you find the time to do that?
Well, that's a great question. What you don't see is over here to my right is a camping village that has been set up by my son. While I was trying to write today, he was over here playing. So
Uh,
that was one of the things that we figured out is bring some toys down into my office so that he can be occupied a little bit. But I kind of made a deal with my husband to say, hey, I want 2 hours a day to work on writing, and
hmm
we found a good time slot during the day that he'll make sure the kids don't die and make sure they don't come down to my office, and then I just get to do author things while I'm down here. So
hmm
because I have that kind of support system, it's been nice. It's been nice to have the luxury of structure,
hmm
which I didn't have for a very long time. And so I feel like for me, that was really crucial in getting things moving, is to say, so this morning at 11 o'clock, I'm going downstairs to work. And it is, I have a responsibility to myself. I'm my boss in this instance. I have a responsibility to me to go and get something done today. And
hmm
I don't want to report to myself at the end of the day and say I didn't do what I expected of myself. So then sometimes I have to. Sometimes like today, I wrote one paragraph before my daughter started screaming and I had to leave work early. So, but, uh,
Yeah.
but at least having like the ghost of a structure is, is vital for my success.
hmm Right. And having that time, to set aside, say, I'm going to really sacrifice this time so I can
Mm-hmm.
pursue this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I probably need to learn to do better with. uh and to not feel guilty about it even, obviously if your kids are screaming, I better go check on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're fine. Yeah, they're two.
What could
Yeah,
have happened?
right. Got dad tied up and
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's I think probably time is the biggest challenge for all of us. But I've heard it said, you make time for the things that are important for you. And and I know many writers wear many hats. Um, I was actually just talking with my wife today about many of the guests I have on are not full-time writers. They're working full-time jobs and they're writing on the side. And those are the people I really would want to give a voice to because I believe in what they're doing and I want to encourage them to keep doing it because I love stories. And so partly selfishly, like, give me more. Let me help you. But it's just remarkable how, they're so passionate about what they want to do. And you as well, that I'm going to make the time to do this. What can I arrange in my life to structure this so I can get it done? Which is a good goal for any task, not just writing.
Yeah.
Uh, anything.
I think also with writing, you see the people who are ultra successful and they are the full-time writers. And then if
hmm
you have $100 plates spinning, on your little sticks. And you
Mm-hmm.
think, I can't devote 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day like they do, so I can't be a writer. Or some people have their goal of writing 10,000 words a day. I can't do that, so I'm not a writer. I only
Mm-hmm.
write one paragraph a week, so I'm not a writer. And we talk ourselves out of it because I'm not like so and so. I shouldn't I shouldn't make it a priority for me because my priority doesn't look like yours.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Right.
that's fiction because
Mm-hmm.
most writers in the world, like you said, aren't full-time writers,
Mm-hmm.
and they make it happen anyway. So just got to
Mm-hmm.
find your way to make it happen. There's no one cookie cutter way. Find your way, whatever works, and do it, and don't feel bad about whatever that looks like.
Right. I interviewed an author a couple years ago now, and she actually only wrote on the weekends because she has a full-time job, and it keeps her very busy and mentally taxing. So she's like, so I just write on weekends, but doing that every weekend for a year, you'll get a book more or less, you know. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
sometimes it takes longer. A couple of things you said about your writing process reminded me of one of my favorite writers is Ray Bradbury. He wrote like old science fiction stuff from like 50s and 60s all the way through till he passed away. He was still writing. Um, but just a remarkable creative poetic mind and writing voice. But he has a collection or a book of collected essays about writing. It's called um, Zen and the Art of Writing, and in it he basically tells people to write. Like, how do you be a writer? You write. And the way he puts it is so funny. He's like, I wake up in the morning and explode out of bed and reassemble in front of the typewriter, you know? Um, but his challenge is that he says, I try to write one short story every week. You know, just start working on it on Monday, write it throughout the week, try to have it done by the end of the week. And he said, and if you do that, by the end of one year, you'll have 52 stories. And looking at that as, okay, I got to write 52 short stories versus I'm just going to write every day. And then by the end of the year, look what I've got. And what he says, this also reminded me of you when you said you wrote like 12, 14 books is just a bunch like that he wrote like that. He said for about 10 years. And he started when he was about 12 years old, he said. And so for 10 years he was writing every single day and in his way, you know, he says a lot of it was garbage and but it got the garbage out
Yeah.
and he began to develop and grow as a writer over time. And you know, and like I said, he wrote till who knows the day he died probably.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the some classic works of science fiction, you know, books like Fahrenheit 451, um, uh, profoundly important book, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that came because he disciplined himself, which I hate that word, but you know, I'm not good at disciplining, being disciplined, as listeners will know, and I ramble all over from topic to topic, uh, but you know that was an out. He wanted to write, and so he says, "I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the time to do it. First thing in the morning, I'm going to get up and write." That worked for him. Won't work for everyone, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Uh, make time, find what would work, and
Yeah. I
pursue
think
that.
I think the point is that if you want to do it, you do at some point just have to do it.
Yeah.
I was telling my husband when I wanted to get back into it, I said, I wish I could, I wish I could. And his sage advice was, so do it. Just do
Hmm.
it. Tell me when you want to do it and do it. And I kind of like, well, I can't. I have to. Yeah, I'm not set up for it. He says, no, just do it. You've got paper, you've got a computer, you've got your imagination. If you're going to do it, stop talking about it and just do it.
Yeah. Now, so for Jillian's Island, um, talk a little bit about that book.
Yeah.
Is this one from one of your older manuscripts, or is this a new work that you've been working on? And
This is a new one.
Mhm.
This isn't one of my older manuscripts. I came up with this idea probably 3 years ago, started writing it 2 years ago.
Hmm.
And it was the brainchild of a sitcom where someone mispronounced the name of Gilligan's Island. And I
Uh-huh.
thought, wouldn't that be fun if there was a book? Someone should write a book about that story and retell it in a different way in a contemporary setting. I want to relive Gilligan's Island. I wish that would happen. And then it took me a second to think, hey, I'm a writer. I could do that. That could be my story. So
Right.
that's how that brainchild ended up happening.
Yeah. Now, what can we expect in your book? It sounds like it's going to have some humor, some family issues in it as well.
Yeah, so it's I've labeled it sort of as a romantic comedy. The romance
Hmm.
isn't a real I mean it's a strong element, but it's not a romance novel. It's an
Hmm.
adventure novel with the romance and a lot of comedy and lighthearted things. It follows the general gist as you might expect from Gilligan's Island.
Hmm.
People on the yacht, they're shipwrecked. They end up on an abandoned island and they have to figure out how to get home. And also, where are they? Is there anybody else on this island that we can call for help?
Hmm.
And so as they're exploring the island, they find these things that don't don't quite fit. So
Mm.
kind of figure out what's going on and then also was the shipwreck really an accident? That's a big
Mm.
overarching thing too.
I I love like mixing and matching genres like that. That's what it sounds like to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. And also, I was a big fan of the show Lost, and so that
Mm.
idea of a mystery island, I'm like, ooh, okay, you've got my attention.
Yeah, we kind of got
Yeah,
a mixed bag of genres. It's hard to put a label on it when the
right,
story just
right,
it is what it is. It's
right.
this snapshot of their life, and it's a little bit funny and a little bit scary. And I don't know, it's a good book. I liked it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh darn, I'm reading a book right now, and I t can't remember the title,
Oh
but
no.
it's oh, it's called So Far Gone. That's it, by Jess Walter. It just came out within like the last month or two, and um, basically this man decides to just unplug from society. He got in a fight over politics with his son-in-law and ended up decking him. And
Oh.
then so he just left and went off grid. And about 7 years later, a couple of kids knock on his door, and he's like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "They're like, well, where are your grandkids?" And like, oh.
Yeah.
And turns out their mom went missing. Um, their dad might be involved with these like ultra weird Christian nationalists and stuff. I don't know. It's got like everything. There's mysteries,
Wow.
there's action, there's humor, there's I don't know. It's got it all. And I'm really loving it.
I like that.
It's
I like that notion that it doesn't have to just be one thing.
yeah, yeah. It's a mixed bag, and it's being done really well, I think. So,
Cool. I'll have to look it
um,
up.
yeah, yeah. I got the audio book, and I just started it today, and it's been. I'm like, this is. I just want to sit and listen. This is one of those really compelling reads. So back to your book. Getting the inspiration. Jillian is your main character.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and she's sailing with her grandpa, and there's other castaways there. Um,
Yes.
were, were were there any characters in your book that were just a delight to write? Um,
Yeah.
and who would that be, and why?
Yeah. So let's review the cast of Gilligan's Island. You've got Gilligan, Skipper,
Hmm.
the millionaire and his wife, Professor, and Marianne. Movie star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ginger, I think, right?
Ginger. Yep.
Yeah.
Ginger, Marianne, Professor. My favorite character to write was my Marianne character
Hmm.
because in the series she's just like this. I think she's just like this girl next door type who is kind of unremarkable one way or the other. She's not as gorgeous as Ginger. She's not as smart as the professor. She's not real resourceful. She doesn't have the experience. She's just kind of there. She's one of the
Mm-hmm.
rest, you know. So I took liberties with writing her as being she was the daughter of a scoutmaster, and she
Mm.
loved to go on adventures with him. And so she happens to have outdoor skills, and she's just kind of unassuming to look at her. She's like a kindergarten teacher, but she's got all these back pocket skills of, yeah, I can start a fire, and yeah, I know how to pick a lock, and she's just kind of
Mm-hmm.
saves the day in unexpected ways. And so her humor, her character was so fun for me to explore and to take that plain Marianne character and turn her into someone who deserves her own book. And she's
Mm.
going to get one too.
All right. All right. Yeah. So are you, when you write, are you what they call a plotter or a pantser?
I'm a plotter.
Yeah.
Uh, Most of my book writing has been mysteries, and it's really hard to just fly on a mystery because you have to know the answer before you can write the clues into your
Mm.
story.
Mm-hmm.
So some of my character development things in the past have been a little bit more uh, willy-nilly, but I usually
Mm-hmm.
do have to have a roadmap, and this one was no exception to that. I had a good
Mm-hmm.
outline to follow.
See, I always worry I'll make an outline and then not stick to it.
Oh yeah, that happens
Yeah.
all the time
Okay.
too.
Does it? Okay. So that's normal then. Okay.
It's a living document.
Okay. Very good. Oh, that's great. For you, what makes a compelling character versus just like a flat character? How do you make them come to life?
This is something that was pointed out to me recently as I was going through my drafts of Jillian. Someone pointed out that my Jillian was boring because she was perfect.
Mm,
And she was perfect at her job, and she had this great relationship with her grandpa, and she was pretty, and she was smart, and she was successful, and she did everything right, and she was perfect. And I wrote her that way because that's the way everybody wants to be. But
hmm.
then after I got that feedback, I'm like, you're right. She's boring because she doesn't have the flaws that we really connect with. And so then I rewrote Jillian to be imperfect. She does not have a perfect relationship with her grandfather, and she's not happy with her life, and she's not really sure of where she wants to go. And so by looking at a character in what they want, how they're going to get there, and what's getting in their way internally is kind of what helped me to create most of my characters, and to just really analyze, like, what's your fatal flaw, and how does that, like I said, get in your own way of what you're
Hmm.
trying to accomplish.
Hmm. When you write, it's almost like you want to have this perfect hero, to come in and save the day or to go on the adventure or whatever. But how often, some of our favorite characters are the rogues, the characters that maybe are a little morally gray.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Y-
Yeah,
you know,
that's a huge thing right now, even in romance novels, is you've got the
right.
villain, that they fall in love with the villain, and why do we connect with that so much? And I think it's that imperfection thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you even come across that in old books, the classics. You got Mr. Rochester from Jane Eyre, and
Hmm.
characters like that um I'm like, oh, gross. Why would you why did you want to fall in love with him? No. uh but if you want to hear my rant about Jane Eyre and who she chooses at the end, my for those who know the book, my choice, she'd be better off by herself. I don't that's a whole other whole
That's
other
true
topic.
about a lot of characters.
Yeah, yeah. Um, well, I'm looking forward to this book, and I want to recommend it to folks. Where will they be able to get it? I assume online bookstores. Where
Yeah,
can they get their hands on it?
yeah. So my Mainly right now I'm focusing on Amazon, but it will be available wide distribution. So it could
Hmm.
be requested at any bookstore, but most bookstores probably won't have it on the shelves for the time being.
Hmm.
But it will be available on Amazon.
Hmm. Is this a self-published or a small press or?
Yeah, I'm an indie author,
Mhm.
and so
Perfect.
we're just kind of
You,
figuring
you
it out.
you do it all then. Indie
Yes.
authors, I've had many on. I'd say, well, I think it's probably 50-50.
Mm,
And I love that dynamic even between indie and small publishers, big publishers. Everyone, they do what works best for them.
yeah.
And I love that the technology now is so that you can do it a lot easier than you could, you know, back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and there are resources available to help. Like I'm sure you use beta readers and like you were saying, you got feedback um, to really help those books. When I was younger, being self-published was almost kind of like, oh,
That was a bad
yeah,
word. Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah. You kind of cut it as
Oh
a real
yeah,
writer,
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
I will fight against that now because I think the industry has grown, so there are just as many helpful resources for a writer to really put out good material that I think can hold its own against the whatever is being published in the big houses, Um, hopefully this doesn't sound like a backhanded compliment, but I do have a
Oh, I
habit
can't
of
wait.
to stick my foot in my mouth, but but no, but yeah, I being an indie author, there's a lot. I mean, you do everything, or you hire it out. I'm sure but there's a lot,
Yeah,
and but we have the tools there to help with that, which is
yeah,
great.
yeah. I feel like when I made the decision to not pursue trad publishing, and that was
Hmm.
a difficult decision to make, but it wasn't well, since nobody else wants it, then I'm going to just go ahead and do it myself. There was a little bit of that, but it was a decision because as even as a traditionally published author, you have to do a lot of work and a lot of the
Hmm.
marketing, and that's what most authors are cringing about. Like, I don't want to get on Instagram and sing and dance and get people to try. Yeah, I don't want to sell the book. I just want to write the book. But now it
Hmm.
seems that in today's publishing world, that's what's working. And so even traditionally
Hmm.
published authors have to do that. So I figured if I'm going to have to do the
Hmm.
hard stuff anyway, then I might as well be in control of my book the
Hmm.
way that I want it to be. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that actually from a couple. I think just last year they were at least one. She's done both, and but she figured, I'm doing all this work anyway. Why not just do it all myself and
Yeah.
cut out the middleman?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Take the
Um,
gamble on yourself
right,
and put the work in anyway. So
right, yeah. I know I think the field is changing. It's in the process. It has been changing over the last 10, 20 years, especially with the ebooks. It's making it easier, which can be good, but also it can really glut the market too. And
yeah.
then you're just one little voice among millions. And anyone who says being a writer is easy, I think they're lying.
No matter
So
which way you go, it's a lot of work.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was gonna be ornery and say, unless you're James Patterson, you can just hire somebody to write your book, and I might take that out. I don't want to get sued by
Hmm.
yeah. I haven't even read any of his books yet, so I'm just picking on him. Uh, anyway, where were we? Okay, well, thanks for coming on. As the Patterson estate is about to sue me, so no.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah, nice knowing you. Yeah, my last guest now. But it's been a joy having you on. I've enjoyed hearing about your journey, about your book, what you put into writing. Again, your book, Jillian's Island, on sale August 12th. What, do you have a website people can find you, or are you online? Your
Yeah, I'm
presence?
my website is authorkimberlywebb.com, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram as author Kimberly Webb. So
All right.
it's pretty easy to find me if you know what to
Okay.
write.
And I'll leave you some clues in the show notes where they can find your website, and won't be
Perfect.
too hard to find. Sounds like you've got some more ideas for books in the future. Looking forward to seeing what else comes. So,
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
yeah, thanks for joining, and keep writing, and everyone keep reading. All right, thanks for watching today. I really don't know where these writers find the time to do what they love. Kimberly is a mom, a wife, a writer. Her days are full. I've had other guests on who work full time and then try to write. They're not, and some have finally, after years of hard work, reached that point where they can support themselves and through their writing, But that takes time, that takes work, and what I'm discovering is that work is worth it. When the way our stories can impact the lives of others, can touch hearts and bring tears to an eye that people laugh over. I tell this story, and I tell it in this podcast, about reading Harry Potter to my boys, and just the joy of that experience is one I treasure. We celebrate the stories, and we celebrate them together, and they're meant to be read and to be read aloud, and to be shared. It's fantastic. So I guess my encouragement to you is, if you're a writer and you feel like just throwing the towel in, maybe keep at it. Keep working. Do the hard work. You will find your audience. If you're a new writer, or you're thinking about writing, you want to explore that, let me encourage you to try. I'm going to. I think I'm going to try. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what that will even be. Short stories, who knows? But I know it, and I've spoken of this in other podcasts previously. I have learned the value of trying hard things, and it's been such a rewarding experience. So try it out. I have plenty of episodes on this podcast full of writers sharing their journeys, their struggles, their victories, that they're giving advice. If you can wade through all the constant distractions I have, and the curiosity I guess I have of other in writers, and what inspires them to write, there's some I think valuable information in this podcast that might help you on your writing journey. So as we explore my bookshelves and discover new friends and old friends and new stories, I just want to encourage you to keep writing, to keep reading, and let your story touch the life of someone else. Well, that's what I have for today. Make sure you check out the show notes down below. I'll list the books we've talked about, Kimberly's information, her website, social media, all that is available to you there. Be sure to support your local library or bookstore, and you can get her book through any bookseller, I'm sure, and through Amazon, of course. And if you're able to help support the podcast in a financial way, there are some links in the show notes, especially on Buy Me a Coffee. I'm hoping this year to maybe do more with that, and maybe build up more of a online community and different things. I don't know yet. I got so many plans and not enough time to do it in. But based on the conversation we just had, I can make the time. So I might just have to do that. All right. That'll be it for me today. Thank you for listening, for watching, however you are consuming this episode. The best thing you can do, honestly, is give this a thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, all those things. You know what to do on YouTube. So I appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you all again soon. Take care.